Hi, I'm Kim Master Martino, and welcome to webinar number 2 about creating calmness and creativity with line design. Hopefully you've seen webinar 1. If not, just go backtrack into your email and there'll be the link there. In webinar 1, we talked about the benefits of slow looking and the benefits it has to creativity and just the benefit it has to calmness. And then we had a live Facebook session where we shared just a practice in line design and what it felt like to create a little bit of calm. We made a simple little design that people went on to add little bits to afterwards, and they posted in the Facebook group Line Design. And today we're going to spend just a few minutes talking more about the Zentangle method, kind of what it is and how it actually brings about this calmness. And you'll have an opportunity to practice a design today, just simply practicing a design without necessarily going through the steps of the Zentangle method. And then tomorrow when we do the Facebook group, I'll go through some parts of the Zentangle method, and we'll see the difference in terms of the experience of bringing about calmness and also the experience of doing it in a group. Even though it is virtual, there is that feeling of a group. So let's begin, and we'll talk a little bit about this calmness and creativity. And, I find right now, generally the world is moving fast and sometimes it's noisy and sometimes full of technology. But in this case, the technology is helping a little bit in bringing about a calming practice that is beneficial for a lot of people. So Zentangle provides the opportunity to reach a calm and relaxed state of mind. And you don't really need any planning, especially if we just allow the lines and the shapes to just emerge on the paper. And anyone can create beautiful images. I've worked with so many people that said, oh, they can't draw. And at the end, everyone had a beautiful image. It's easy to learn, relaxing, and it's fun to do. So as we go through this webinar, hopefully you have a pen and paper handy, because as we get going, there will be an opportunity for you to practice one of my favorite patterns. And basically the way it works, you have simple supplies handy, you relax, following the 8 steps of the Zentangle method, and then you repeat. I was trained as a certified Zentangle teacher by Rick and Maria in Rhode Island a few years ago. And so this is the way that they work through Zentangle. They have a great website just called Zentangle. You can go and take a look for it. And they sell a variety of resources, some beautiful books, and some papers and pens and things like that you can get there too. And so here are the 8 steps of the Zentangle method, and I'm going to go through each one to kind of explain why they're actually there. Step 1, always making room for gratitude and appreciation, basically by just getting comfortable. Take a few breaths, relax, put everything aside, and just feel gratitude for the few minutes that you have to just to do something that you love to do. And often, especially if you can be part of a community, and relax and make something beautiful. The next step is with a pencil, we put a dot on each corner of the paper. And as we put each dot, we think about something we're grateful for as we place each dot. So again, that intentionality of gratefulness. There's always something in our lives, even if things tend to be falling apart, there is always something we can be grateful for. And then once we connect the 4 dots with a line pencil, doesn't have to be exactly straight, they can be curvy or wonky. The border is set and the page is no longer blank. So often when people draw, we think about, I don't know what to draw, I can't draw anything. I'm not sure how to fill this page. Well, by the time you have the 4 dots on and the border, your page isn't blank anymore. And so it's so easy to begin. And inside the border is step 4. We draw a light pencil line to make what we call a string. And so the string separates the tile into sections, again, giving us a place in which to draw our tangles or patterns. that line can kind of be straight, like on the left, it could be wavy, it could be curvy, it could be so many different ways. In other words, there's no one way to make a string. Everybody's string looks different. And hence, even if we're making similar patterns, the, the, the pattern or the art that emerges is truly unique and truly creative. And step 5 is putting the tangles in. And we call a tangle a pattern, but it's a deliberate sequence of strokes that make up a pattern. And your tangles usually are done in pen, inside the pencil strings and borders. And we work with pen because there really are no mistakes in Zentangle, only creative opportunities. And so we can just focus on each stroke as the pen is on the paper, and we can trust that we'll know what to do next when the time comes to do it. So in other words, they're simple patterns, 3, 4, 5-step patterns that can be almost memorized. And so when we're working through the patterns, it becomes just a way to relax, because we're not thinking about the next step. We're not thinking about what to draw. It is just happening right in front of our eyes. And the step 6 is shading with a pencil to bring some contrast and dimension into the tile. And you can also use a tortillon or a blending stump or a Q-tip or a little piece of tissue to soften and blend that graphite, just to, again, to make more contrast and to just make it more beautiful. Step 7 is you've created a piece of art. Artists always sign their card. And because we're always making small pieces, we don't want this to become massive. It can be finished in 15 or 20 minutes. You should sign it and you put your initials on the front. And the last step is always to appreciate, again, holding at arm's length, turn it this way and that, and appreciate what you've created. Or in a group, we have an appreciation, what we call a mosaic. We put all our tiles together and we appreciate each other's work. And the 8 steps of the Zentangle method, basically all the tangles or all the patterns are made up of 5 basic shapes. If anybody can do these 5 basic shapes, they can make any pattern that you see out there. There's so many websites that have patterns. The Zentangle homepage has some books that have some patterns in it. 5 basic shapes, and I'll talk more about that in the live Facebook session that we'll have in a week, tomorrow. And so if you have some pen and paper, what I'm going to invite you to do is to just follow along in making this pattern. Is one of my favorites. It's called Enzeppel. Again, it's simple patterns that are built with some simple shapes, but when they come out, by the time they finish, you can accomplish something like this kind of flower thing that actually appeared. So let's just take a minute. If you have a pen and paper, you can follow along. And so any of the remaining places that are in the middle of these patterns can be colored in and makes it look like a little bit of a flower pattern. And so that is just simply how the patterns are built, step by step to come to complex. But what really makes Zentangle inspired art Zentangle inspired is when you can work alongside a community, when you can follow the 8 steps of the Zentangle method and really bring about that mindfulness. It gives just a break in the day, a time when you don't have to think about anything or anywhere. You are in the here and now. And this just helps to do that. And so I invite you tomorrow to join me in the live Facebook group session where, again, we'll practice together and I'll talk a little bit more about how I'm trying to build a community and how you can join in. So before I talk a little bit more about that, I'd like to show you on the Zentangle website, you can find all sorts of stories. And this is a story from Therese and how Zentangle inspired art helps her.
Area where it's not a blank canvas, so you're intimidated by where do I start. There's specific patterns to follow, and when I'm doing those patterns, my mind is just so focused on making each line that it just completely relaxes me. And to me, it's like my daily meditation now. I feel like in this world where there's so many energies coming in so rapidly to the planet, and there are so many people going at such a fast pace that a lot of people can't sit down and quiet their minds enough to do meditation, but this gives them a different way and a different opportunity. My story is that my son graduated college and he decided to work for City Year, which is a part of AmeriCorps, and he's teaching for 1 year in the South Bronx. And he says by 4th grade, there are kids that are so afraid to make mistakes and so embarrassed, you know, don't want to feel embarrassed in front of the other kids that they're not even trying. And so I feel like the Zentangle philosophy could really reach some of these kids, being that there are no mistakes. Just the whole philosophy would work really well with them. And I plan on going into the after-school program and working with some of them and just seeing if there's any way we can shift a little bit of their thinking. I just feel like to get them out of that mode and motivated to learn a little bit and try things and not be afraid to make mistakes, because there are no mistakes. And I feel like if you can make a difference even in one child, you know, just like reach anyone, and then obviously the more the better, it makes a difference in the world.
Just end this one. And let's come back to the PowerPoint. So that's Therese and her experience with Zentangle inspired art. And so I'm developing a community of Zentangle inspired art to support exactly what Therese was talking about, is that idea of relaxation, but within a community where we can inspire each other. And so I will be opening a course very soon, basically 30 days to develop a relaxing practice. So this is a 4-week course that I only open a couple of times a year. because I really want to spend time with people that come into the course over those 30 days just to help develop practice the way that Rick and Maria helped me develop my practice, and has meant a lot to me in terms of just relaxation and a lot of fun, actually. So the course will provide the basics to get started with support. I'll have live weekly Zoom classes that if you can't make it during the time that we're going to have the live one, they will be recorded and placed within the course. We'll have discussion boards where you can inspire each other and post some of your work. Again, it's not about how pretty it is or how nice it is. It's really about how it made you feel, or the difference it made when you made one of these little cards or did a few patterns with somebody else. And there's a Facebook group that will provide a community to share that experience with. And I've been doing this for quite a few years. I've had tutorials online and things like that, and over 7,000 people have actually downloaded my basic tutorial, and over 700 students have taken my courses when I actually had them in Skillshare. I've moved them over to Teachable, because I really want to develop that community. I don't really just want it as a standalone. And so for those that are beginners, you'll learn about basic tools and supplies. You'll learn how to create and draw patterns based on 5 simple shapes, and then you can draw any pattern. There'll be some templates and things like that that you can download to just kind of organize your patterns. And I'll be starting with you how to begin a practice of that slow noticing, and how to create calm and beautiful line design. And those that have been doing Zentangle for a while, this offers you a community to work with, some ideas on new patterns. In the live Zoom classes, we will be practicing together, kind of like yoga. And so you'll have a community to do that. And once you purchase the course, you have access anytime. So you can go back in anytime and download any of the resources, or when I open it again, you have that opportunity to be part of that community. So you just always have access to it. So I've been doing Zentangle workshops for quite a few years, online and face-to-face. I am an education consultant, currently working full-time, so this is my part-time work. And I actually translate a lot of the designs that I make into my modern quilting. I just love making my own patterns. Once the actual quilt has been put together, to put the designs and the sewing on the top, I just love doing that. And so for me, what makes this course unique is, we'll start with week 1, a meet and greet through Zoom, and those links will be in the course. We'll have weekly live classes that are going to be recorded in case you can't make it. You'll have opportunity to comment on the live classes. We'll also have weekly live question and answer sessions in the Facebook group Line Design, where you can join in, and we'll have a simple practice there also, but it's mostly a time for question and answers and things about the course. And through it, we'll build a really supportive community over the 4 weeks. And, they always say if you do anything for 30 days, it becomes a habit. And so that's what this is really about. So the team is me, it's you, and it's going to be new friends that you're going to make in the course, and a new community. So it's a course for anyone. You don't have to have any experience. Anyone can do Zentangle. It will open soon. I only open it a couple times a year. And once you purchase a course, of course, you have continuous access. So I will be talking a little bit more about this in the Facebook group Line Design tomorrow, and posting more information about where you can get the link for that course. And so if you need to contact me personally, you can contact me through my creatingmindfulness123@gmail.com, or just by posting something in the Line Design group. We are small but mighty right now, and you can take a look at some of the stuff I've been working on the last couple of years in my Instagram, just Kim Mastromartino Line Design. And so I look forward to seeing you in the blind design group. And if this course meets your needs, hopefully I'd love to meet you there too. Have a great day.